It's now clear that the Soviet Union has suffered one of the worst disasters in the history of nuclear power.
It was supposed to be the biggest nuclear power plant in the world. Instead, it became the biggest nuclear disaster.
After Chernobyl went down, animals there just aren't the same anymore. They've got some freaky disorders, weird mutations, and insane changes that evolution threw their way. We're talking creepy, scary, and totally shocking animals. Brace yourself, because here comes a list of the wildest creatures that blew everyone's mind. Unusual growth of antlers. So, deer's antlers are like their crowns, right? But check this out, there was this one buck with a messed up antler. One of them was hanging low and looking all swollen. Despite that, the deer was chilling, munching on grass, walking around, and moving its head like nothing was wrong. Turns out, antler weirdness is pretty common in deer because of stuff like injuries, hormone issues, or genetics making their antlers grow all wonky. The cool part, most of the time these funky antlers don't even bother them. Infested with ticks. Back in June 2021, this blind fawn totally ran into a car on a road in Eastern Shore County. Her eyes were covered in ticks. Poor thing looked totally freaked out. But then, this guy named Nadelstein stepped in. After scooping up the fawn, he and Wildlife Rescue worked together to pick all the ticks off her eyes and cleaned up the mess. They got rid of all the nasty stuff and drained the abscesses, letting the little fawn finally see the world without any pain. Turns out, this is what happens when animals lie in one spot too long. They end up collecting ticks. Zombie moose. So, the next clip? It's got this moose walking all wonky in circles, head all bent out of shape. 1, it's not just goofing around. 2, it's not lost its marbles. And 3, it's kinda unsettling. So what's the deal? Turns out this moose is dealing with something called brain disease, thanks to a nasty parasitic worm that messes with its brain big time. This worm usually hops over from white-tailed deer, who don't seem to mind carrying it around. This leads to the moose acting all weird, getting cranky, and feeling rough with no escape until it's just too much. Hairless buck. Deep in the woods, someone came across a deer that looked pretty off. It was skinny, with patchy skin and weird coloring. Not your typical deer look. Turns out, this deer's got some serious hair loss problems, with lots of fur missing in patches. But why's that happening? There's a bunch of reasons it could be like lice, mange, or even dermatophilosis, which folks sometimes call rain rot. And since this deer was just out there living its best wild life, pinning down exactly why it's losing its fur isn't exactly straightforward. Rabid fox. Someone from Forsyth County, Georgia saw this fox just chilling by a car tire in town. Seemed normal enough until it started acting totally nuts. It was howling like mad, acting all aggressive and confused. Turns out this poor fox wasn't just having a bad day, it was dealing with a deadly case of rabies. Yeah, that's the scary virus that goes straight for an animal's central nervous system and basically wrecks it. And if a rabid animal bites a person, they could end up with the same grim symptoms, and there's no real cure for it either. Deer with giant tumor. Someone saw a white-tailed deer with a growth the size of a basketball hanging from its chest area. This big lump, called a hydrocyst or seroma, is stuffed with fluid that can be yellow or red. It usually pops up after some kind of injury, and yes, it's as painful as it seems. The video caught this poor deer walking around with this painful blob, just hoping for a rescue or, sadly, to become an easy target for predators. Elephant with leg tumor. Back in November 2021, there was an elephant that stood out because one of its legs was way bigger than the others. When wildlife rescuers took a closer look, they figured out this huge animal was dealing with a leg tumor, also known as elephantiasis. This is caused by a nasty parasite from roundworms that get passed on through mosquito bites. The elephant was really struggling, with its leg all lumpy, stiff, and super painful in the swollen spots. Thankfully, some wildlife officers stepped in, gave it a tranquilizer, and were able to give it the medical care it needed. Giraffe with massive head growth. The next footage from Kruger National Park captures a giraffe with a massive tumor right above its eyes and between its horns. Despite the pain, this giraffe was seen nibbling on leaves, trying to manage its declining health. The tumor is decaying severely, leading some to speculate it's cancerous, while others think it might be due to aging-related mutations. With a tumor as large and painful as this, it's likely this unfortunate giraffe will succumb to its condition before facing the threat of any more dangerous predators, which arguably could be a less harsh fate. Monkey with mouth cancer. While research indicates that cancer is relatively rare in non-human primates, there was a female monkey observed suffering from a serious condition, likely advanced stage mouth cancer. Struggling to eat because of the large wound, she fortunately can still drink water. However, it raises the question, is just being able to drink water enough to survive? This poor monkey, enduring tremendous pain, doesn't understand what's happening to her and is simply trying to alleviate her suffering as best as she can until her time comes to part with the world. Featherless parrot. Next up, meet Oscar, who might surprise you because despite the name, she's a female Moluccan cockatoo. But there's something special about Oscar. She's not just any bird. She battles a rare virus that makes her pluck out her feathers due to irritation. On top of that, she's also dealing with a beak disease. Despite these challenges, Oscar has managed to thrive for 12 years. This condition is super contagious and can cause other birds to lose their feathers too, often before they're fully grown. That's why Oscar has to stay apart from her birdie family members, but she still wins over her owner with her incredibly sweet personality. Two-legged hyena. Tougher than before, there was this courageous hyena seen at King's Camp in the Greater Kruger, moving around with its two back legs paralyzed, dragging them along. Here's a bit of the story behind it. About 9 months back, this hyena got savagely attacked by a lion pride, leaving it almost lifeless. It wasn't clear where the injured hyena vanished to, but it seems like it was laying low, healing up. Now, looking even stronger than before, it's been spotted again, this time walking on just its two front legs, having become paraplegic. What matters most though, is that it's alive and adapting well to life in the wild. Elephants without tusks. Over in Mozambique's Gorongosa National Park, there's something odd happening. Elephants are being born without tusks. Normally, these big teeth are super useful for elephants, helping them dig, lift, or gather food, strip tree bark to eat, and defend themselves. But after years of relentless hunting targeting elephants with tusks, nature's taken a turn, and now we're seeing elephants adapt by being born tuskless. It's a bit worrying though, because if elephants don't have their essential tools for survival, how are they gonna manage? Horse with deformed face. As they inch closer to breeding what looks like a creature out of a cartoon, meet El Rey Magnum, a 9-month-old colt from Orion Farms, boasting an unusual concave profile that makes him look like he's straight out of an animation. While he might appear adorably unique, animal experts have raised concerns with the breeders about potential health issues. They worry that the horse could struggle with breathing and exercising, since horses can only breathe through their noses, a significant drawback for this particular breed. Pale zebra. By now, you've probably noticed something different in the video. It's a herd of zebras, all rocking the classic black and white stripes, except for one with much lighter stripes. So, what's up with that? Could it be some kind of unusual mutation? Turns out, this zebra has leucism, a rare condition that causes it to have less pigmentation than its fellow zebras. Some studies suggest that animals with leucism might regain their typical coloration as they age, but it seems like this particular zebra is quite happy standing out in a crowd of traditionally patterned zebras. Piglet with 6 legs. In China's Sichuan province, a piglet was born that's turning heads for having 6 legs and 8 feet. A video captures this little piglet, which, alongside its 4 regular legs, has 2 additional ones sprouting from under its belly. These extra limbs just hang there, not really getting in the way as the piglet scampers about. And if that wasn't odd enough, this tiny fellow also sports 2 small feet peeking out from under its belly, right by the extra legs. It's thought that this unique set of extra legs and feet is due to a genetic mutation, especially since all its siblings look totally normal. Deer with CWD. Caught in the freezing cold, with its lower lip badly injured, this poor creature is not just battling the harsh weather, but is also struggling with chronic wasting disease, CWD. This disease is notorious for causing brain deterioration due to improperly folded proteins called prions. Sadly, once an animal contracts CWD, there's no reversing its fate, only an inevitable exit from this world awaits. To make matters worse, it looks like predators have targeted it, causing the lip injury. Despite this, the animal seems to be holding its own against its attackers, now simply awaiting a peaceful conclusion to its ordeal. Bear with tapeworm. Check out this massive Alaskan bear dealing with a 6-foot-long tapeworm hanging from its back. The video captures the bear scratching its back against a tree, trying to shake off the annoying parasitic worm that's been bugging it. The thing is, even if the bear manages to get rid of this tapeworm, chances are it'll just end up with another one. That's because Alaskan rivers are teeming with tapeworm eggs, which are consumed by crustaceans that then get eaten by salmon. And we all know bears can't say no to salmon, leading them to inadvertently ingest tapeworms that make their home in the bear's digestive system. These worms feast on the bear's nutrients, growing up to 30 feet or longer and slowly weakening the bear from the inside. Reindeer with antler wart. Warts, while often painless, can lead to various other discomforts if left unchecked. Take, for instance, this reindeer burdened with large antler warts on its head, which made it difficult for the poor creature to see clearly. Fortunately, the reindeer's luck turned around with the arrival of veterinarian Dr. Terry, who stepped in to alleviate its suffering. Captured in the footage, Dr. Terry secures the animal to a tree and sets about carefully removing the vision-obstructing warts. Thanks to his meticulous work, Dr. Terry was able to restore the animal's sight by eliminating the troublesome warts. Deer with swollen jaw. Caught in a field of tall grass, there's a doe with a noticeably swollen cheek, and though it might look like she's just got her mouth full, the situation is much more serious than some unchewed food stuck in her cheek. What she's dealing with is a condition known as lumpy jaw, or food impaction, which is actually caused by an internal parasitic worm. This issue isn't rare among white-tailed deer, given that they host various species of anaerobic bacteria. The silver lining, however, is that this condition can resolve itself, provided it doesn't deteriorate further. Squirrel having seizure. This tiny squirrel was found trembling as if it were experiencing a powerful electric shock. However, the reality was even more distressing. The squirrel was actually having a seizure, causing it to vibrate uncontrollably. Thankfully, a kind-hearted individual stepped in, gently picking up the squirrel and placing it on a sheet of white paper. Knowing exactly what to do next, he fed the squirrel a life-saving mixture of sugar and water. It was almost as if you could see the squirrel expressing gratitude as it drank the sweet solution. After ensuring the squirrel had enough to drink, the man decided it was best to keep the squirrel in a cage overnight, recognizing it was too frail to return to the wild immediately. The next day, feeling stronger, the squirrel was released back into its natural habitat. Frog with extra limb. While you might think having an extra pair of legs would give a frog a leg up in life, there was this frog seen struggling to lug around its additional limbs as if they were just extra baggage. And that's pretty much the case, as these extra parts offer no real benefit, being merely the result of an unusual deformity. The culprit behind this strange mutation is a parasitic worm called the trematode parasite. The life cycle of this parasite is quite complex. Birds disperse the worm's eggs into ponds, where they are consumed by snails. These snails then release new larvae infected with the worms, which are eventually ingested by tadpoles, leading to the unfortunate development of extra limbs in the frogs. Three-legged tiger. At Omaha's Henry Dorley Zoo and Aquarium, there was a tiger named Mai who had to move around by dragging herself because, as it turns out, she only had 3 legs. Despite her disability, Mai didn't let it stop her from captivating visitors or from becoming a mother to 3 gorgeous cubs, all of whom are of the esteemed Malayan tiger lineage. However, Mai faced numerous health challenges, including dementia, which ultimately shortened her life. Sadly, she passed away at the age of 20 in April 2017. Monkey with deformed hands. Check out this little monkey, peeling and eating a banana with its small, oddly shaped hands. Despite the challenges it faces, this baby seems to be thoroughly enjoying its snack, blissfully unaware of any issues. It's a silver lining that it hasn't grasped the extent of its severe hand deformity, which could pose challenges down the line. The cause of the deformity is uncertain. Some speculate it's congenital, while others suggest it might stem from a significant deficiency in the monkey's system. Regardless of the reason, you have to admit there's something incredibly endearing about seeing it happily munching on that banana. Radioactive spiders. Beyond their ordinary appearance, discover these unique radioactive spiders that have developed extraordinary web-spinning skills. It seems that following the Chernobyl disaster, spiders in the affected area of Ukraine evolved unusual abilities to adapt to their challenging environment. Researchers were amazed to observe how radiation impacted these spiders, leading them to create webs with erratic and unconventional patterns. These webs appear distorted and malformed when compared to those of typical spiders, but unlike many other animals affected by the Chernobyl event, these spiders have managed to thrive. Scary wolf mutation. Scattered throughout Chernobyl when the massive nuclear explosion happened, these top predators were quick to adapt, absorbing the radiation without losing their lives. Now, with their natural prey scarce, they're moving into nearby towns, bringing their radioactive traits with them, traits that can also affect other animals. So far, they haven't been a direct threat to humans, but many researchers suggest that over time, this potent radiation could potentially spread to humans, possibly leading to outcomes as fantastical as real-life werewolves. Rarest dogs. As life gradually returned to the areas surrounding the Chernobyl disaster, around 300 stray dogs were discovered living approximately 2,600 kilometers away from the impact zone, coexisting with other wildlife like moose and lynx. Videos captured these dogs, adorned with stunning coats of black, white, and gold, and striking yellow eyes, as they roamed the area, delighting those who came to visit. However, the situation isn't as idyllic as it appears. The challenging weather conditions in the area contribute to a reduced lifespan for these dogs, typically capping at just 6 years. Thanks a bunch for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and share this video with your buddies. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and smash that bell icon so you won't miss out on any of our awesome upcoming videos. Thanks again, you're the best.